Happy New Year, everybody. 2023.
Yep.
First podcast of the year. It's a good.
Back with the bang.
Yeah, nice episode. We talked about what we got going on. And,
May do it. Could do it. I might do it. But I can't do it, yes.
It's going to be a few different topics. Really good. And then we're going to have an exciting announcement that we got planned for the next podcast in the near future. So tune in. Don't miss it. Like and subscribe. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Moose and Shrimp.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's.
2023.
And MLK Day today, too. We had a busy couple months. We kind of lagged it on the pods, but I guess we're going to use the excuse of like the holidays and everything. But
Well, I still on the page. I'll post the our progress of what we do, like the day-to-day events.
Yeah, and but kind of what was going on this past week was pretty cool. I was down in Corona on a training, like a school resource officer training, kind of like the do's and don'ts of with juvenile law, what you can do.
Don't body slam juveniles.
Yeah, especially be on film doing it. With everybody nowadays, have all the phones and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if it merits it, I guess. But there was one incident, but I won't get into it. But it was pretty cool, though. It was a bunch of it was at Corona PD, really nice PD, and I was telling you about it when I don't really go down south that much, and I really hate it because of traffic.
That's what she said.
I hate the traffic, dude, and like the big city and stuff, especially because we grew up. I mean,
we didn't really travel very much.
Yeah, you might be different, but we grew up out in the country, and on top of that too, yeah, we didn't really go.
I had to get into the mindset of being open-minded to go places the first time like we started traveling myself, because we went to Pismo. That was the farthest we went.
And then even then, so like the farthest you went before you went to the military, were you in the? It wasn't.
I was in the military.
Texas, right?
I was in the military.
You went to Texas before you went, right?
Hawaii.
Okay.
Hawaii, Texas.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna say, how was it?
Denmark.
How was it going from like not going anywhere to, hey, this is where you're going to Kentucky, but you already been to a few places.
Yeah.
But real quick before we get into that, how did you?
The funny thing was, so once you, because I was a little bit older, and we had like 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, and it's a group of us traveling together. So they give us, you get your plane ticket.
I still have that picture before you guys took off with that group of people you took off with.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
And before you go to basic, to ship off to basic, you go up to MEPS, and then for the second time, then you get everything finalized. And then from there...
Do you remember what MEPS stands for?
No. Medical something. Whatever, but...
It's basically like a intense physical, right?
It's like your like a body physical, your blood, urine, physical movements, all that they check to make sure you're good to go. But
side note for that when you're done.
The funny thing was though, I was getting to so it was San Jose, and then so stay the night there in a hotel. Then the next day you get your tickets and your marching orders, and then we got to the airport.
Did you know where you're going when you got your orders? Like, hey, you're going here?
So I flew like twice before that, but I never really had the itinerary. I was just like, hey, I told my wife, where we're going. Okay, we're going here. Then we go to this plane,
She kind of took care of it.
Yeah, she knew, because she traveled a lot. And so like I said, we had me and some younger people, and we get on the first plane because it was easy. We get on the first plane, then it was connecting flights. So then the second one it was Dallas Fort Worth, and from there we're going to Missouri. And then this one person was going somewhere else, so it's like this whole group, they were like making friends, trying to make friends. And then I was like, we gotta go to this fucking airplane. And I'm trying to navigate through the airport, and this person's like, in a group, I'm gonna walk her over there. I was like, you're gonna miss your fucking plane. I was like, fuck that, I'm gonna go every man for himself. So I went to my plane.
Like, Home or
Yeah.
scrambling.
And I once I found where I was going, I'm good to go. And then once I got there, we got to the next plane, and it was funny though because like they were trying to be courteous, helping them, but if you don't make that plane, you're not gonna hear the end of it.
And
You're
that kind
fucked.
of sets you up to like how it's going to be once you get to
Yeah,
because
attention to detail. You have to follow every direction accordingly, or you're gonna get fucked up.
and yeah, I'm sure you want to and basically you're gonna help each other out, but first you gotta make sure yourself squared away too, because it's all. I mean, you're still learning what you need to get done.
Yeah, well, you'll pick it up too, because if someone's just fucking up, you're not gonna go help them, because then you're gonna get fucked up too. Let them. That's what they want. They want to break them, then rebuild them.
So, I was gonna say, so I don't really talk about it much, but because I feel like those memes where I always see where those guys, well, I almost made it to the military, but
Oh yeah.
this or that, and so I was like about 4 years into my law enforcement career, and I was at my second agency, which was it was basically like campus police, and I know I didn't want to be there, but it was just the smartest decision at that time financially, and just the way things were going down at my other department.
Going down.
It was a younger command staff. Well, command staff was like two people, but it was it was kind of getting bad. So one of my good buddies, I remember he messaged me and he's like, "Hey, we have a couple openings for officers over here at the college," and I was like, "Nah, I don't want to do that. I'm not gonna be campus PD because and too, it's like it. Yeah, you're a cop, and not
You
to
got
take,
that stigma, yeah.
yeah,
Like,
not to take
this
anything
you ain't
away
a
from
fucking
them,
cop.
but it's yeah, you're kind of a cop, I guess. But so then he hit me up and I said, "Nah, I don't really want to do it," and so then some other stuff.
Didn't you apply for the tribal one? Didn't you jump ship?
Yeah, that was okay. So he hit me up the first time. I said, "No, I don't want to do it." And then then he called me again, and luckily he called me back the second time to tell me, and he's like, "Hey, I'm just gonna tell you one more time." And he told me about the pay. He told me, basically everything about it. And he's a really good dude. He never steered me in the wrong direction, and I thank him for that. And he was my first FTO man. He was paramilitary. He was a officer for over like 10 years, detective, everything, dude. He was squared away. Like um, on duty, he was like I looked up to him. He's like kind of the cop that I wanted to be. And so he hit me up the second time, and it just happened to be perfect timing because a lot of shit was going down. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna go. And but at that time, I had applied for the tribal police on the reservation in Porterville, and before my sister, she called me and she goes, and then my brother-in-law, they live up there, and they were telling me about it, and she goes, because unless, and that's what I recommend for like younger guys to do, like you kind of, if you want to be a sheriff, depending what county you want to be in, do your homework. If you want to be a city cop, whatever city you're going to be in, do your homework. For me, I feel like I was kind of just reaching, like throwing my line out there, trying to get
Throw your fillers out there.
and just get something. And so luckily they called me and they're like, "Hey, this is kind of what they do every day." Um, and then basically it's not a lot.
Yeah, you're not gonna be running and gunning.
No, and it's more of like I guess like a retirement gig, or if you're really
Like a learning, like a low pace, yeah.
But also too, like, but if you're from up there and you really have the heart and desire to want to make a change and do things, you can.
Oh yeah.
But that's what you have to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna get in pursuits. You're not gonna get, the homicides, all those things because the sheriff takes it over. But I remember I said, I'm just gonna apply. And then also too, my first deployment was an hour and 20 minutes away. Up here is like 20 minutes. So I was focusing on the wrong pros as opposed to the cons.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got all suited.
It's gonna fit. You're gonna look good. You're gonna look good. You're gonna make it fit.
And so I said, you know what? I got suited up. I applied. I got an interview. I said, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna do it. And I remember I got up there, and it's called the Justice Center where you go do. It's like the new courthouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I go up there and tell him, hey, my name, blah blah. I'm here for the interview. And some guy was before me, so he gets there. He's going in his interview, and the guy's like, "Well, you're next." And so I'm sitting there, and like I'm kind of thinking, and and that same day I had an interview in Fresno at for the state center, the campus PD.
Same day?
Yeah, same day. And so, or no, I had my background appointment. I was already in background.
Oh.
My background appointment with TJ Law, and so. Excuse me. So I'm up there, I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking about everything. I'm thinking about what I want to do, like in my law enforcement career. I'm thinking about what my sister and brother-in-law told me, and I'm sitting there and I say, you know what? We got to get out of here, dude. And I just took off. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't say anything. I left, and I just drove away. I didn't even interview because I knew.
Did they contact you?
No, they didn't. But I called them back and I said I was gonna I thank you for the opportunity, but I was going to pull my, sorry for these circumstances, but I want to pull my application, this and that. And they said, all right. And then another thing, too, because we worked at the casino, so kind of what we saw, we would, on a daily basis, the Charles police, they were always at the casino just kind of bullshitting, not really doing much. And
they would take the troublemakers from the casino, then they would take them down to the Justice Center, then sheriffs, depending on the situation, then sheriffs would just pick them up.
Yeah. And and then if you think about it, like that's kind of just basically like a security job too.
Yeah,
right?
but like you said, not to knock them. Like you said though, like if you want to do that, if you want to better your community, then that's a good route to go.
Yeah, and there's absolutely, and it depends what you want to do with your career.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I got there. Did everything went good in background stuff, and then so my buddy who got me in there, he's like, dude, just give the PD like a year, 2 years, and Chief's really cool, which he was, and I guarantee you'll be able to get somewhere where you want to be long term. But while I was there, and I think you had just got out maybe, because this was about 20. When did you get out?
2020.
Okay, so this
coronavirus
was around that time, and so I was at the college. COVID hadn't. No, it was 19. COVID hadn't hit yet, and I just felt I was doing pretty good at the campus. Like the cool thing about it, admin wants you to patrol the campus. They want to make sure everything's copacetic on campus, and then you could go play.
You're late. You're late.
They want to go. They want you to go. Then you could go play in the streets. But the caveat to that is you need to make sure you know what you're doing. And they have they have like a phrase. My buddy Dory told me, like, you catch the fish, you make sure you know how to skin it. You know what I mean? They're not skin, whatever.
Skin it.
Clean it, whatever.
Fish don't have skin.
I know, whatever. Clean it. Sorry. And so
there's more than one way to skin a cat.
So I was having fun. It was pretty cool. I think I was the first cop to get a gun on campus. School was out. It was on a weekend. I was one of the first cops to get a gun on campus. It was pretty cool. It was a flare gun.
Nice.
But I guess I'll slow down a little bit. But so this guy, bunch of face tattoos, not profiling, but he had face tattoos. He was on a bike, he had a backpack, so kind of like gangster tweakerish.
He wasn't a student?
No, it was on the weekend. It was like on a Saturday.
Oh.
And if it looks like a duck, well, outside it's probably a duck. So I was on a different call, and I seen him and I noticed him and I just shouted, "Hey, what do you got going on?" He's like, "Oh, no, I'm just passing through." I said, "Cool, all right, see you later." So that was his pass. So he was taking off. I finished talking with one of the instructors there, and then they take off, and I see this guy again. I said, "Okay, I can't consciously just let him be cruising around campus because
He didn't leave?
No, he drove by, but then he came back. So I stopped him, and he was on his bike. He didn't have brakes. So I stopped him.
Traffic violation?
Yeah, yep. So I stopped him. He was like, "No, I'm leaving." I was like, "No. I gave you a chance. Let me talk with you." So I said probation, parole, kind of one of the first things you ask, because if they are, then obviously it gives you, you can search.
Free range.
Yeah, so it's open to search and all that. So depending on their terms, but majority of the time you're open to search. So I'm searching him, and then so he has in his pocket, he has a spent shell casing. He's like, "Oh, I just found that." I said, "Okay, maybe,
Maybe.
probably not." So then I checked.
I'll bite. I'll bite. Let's see.
So I checked the other pocket, and he has 4 live rounds. I go, "Okay, we have a spent shell case, and we have live rounds. Where's the guns?" "I don't have no gun, nothing." I go, "All right." So I set him down. And it was kind of cool too because it was kind of like a learning experience for we have what's like for the city PD, they have what's called community service officers. For the campus, it's called district service officers. So essentially, they kind of do the same thing. Like they take cold cases or like cold crimes. I mean, like vandalism and stuff like that. And so they were there watching. So it's kind of cool because they kind of see it firsthand. Because they typically, if you're doing that,
They're taking notes.
You're trying to want to go into law enforcement, and a couple of the guys were already in the academy. So, I set him down. I'm searching him, and I get this backpack and I open his bag, and he has this big. It looked like a gun case. You know when you first buy it comes in. So it looked like that. So I pull it out and I open it, and it's a flare gun. And I was like, okay, so it's a flare gun. And then so in my head, because obviously we don't have every single penal code, memorized. So I was like, okay, flare gun, campus. It's maybe it's kind of like a weapon, but there was a little metal cylinder on there, and on the side. And so when I was reading it had a little owner's manual too. So I was reading it. If you put that cylinder inside of the flare gun where you put the flare, it had a little opening which could fit
like a pistol.
Yeah, which could fit around. And so if you put that cylinder in, the flare gun now acts as a single shot 38.
Fuck.
So he was a bulldog. He was on parole. So now he was good to go. But that was like pretty good arrest. And I remember they sent an email out, and it was pretty cool. They gave me.
What did he say when you found it and everything?
He said he found it and he just put it in his bag. He didn't know this and that. But obviously, if he had that spent shell casing, he probably tested it out.
Yeah, he probably could see if it worked.
Yeah, see what's going on with it. But he ended up fessing up, and he said he had it for protection and whatnot. So
fuck yeah, flare gun.
But it was so I mean, you could on the campus, you could find stuff to do, and then I was pulling people over, doing my traffic, and it's anybody familiar with Fresno? It's a Fresno City campus, and all around there, it's pretty rough. So you could find stuff pretty quick, and so it was good, but then I mean, I was like, it was kind of repetitive, and I didn't feel like I was doing real cop work. Yeah, I was doing traffic, giving tickets.
How long were you there?
About almost 2 years. But in 2000, so I think it was a little bit before you were getting out. I was like, you know what? One thing too I wanted to do was I wanted to be in the military too, and so I said, you know what? I'm gonna go talk to the people at the National Guard.
Nasty girls.
So I went to Visalia, and
where at the which one?
It's on. Is it Acres?
The one down. Oh yeah, the actual armory. The National Guard. Oh shit.
Because I went over there, I rang the bell, and the funny thing was though, like, because my brother was in the military, so you gave me all the ins and outs, like what they're gonna tell you, they're gonna tell you, what you want to hear, and like I was influenced by my buddy, and he went to the army right when like the heart of the war and all that. So
Afghanistan, Iraq war.
So he was infantry. He was out there. He was in the shit. So I was like, oh, I want to be a
infantry. Infantry sniper.
Airborne. But that was like what interested me. I wanted to
do
like the craziest thing you could do.
Yeah.
And so,
make it worthwhile.
And so I told him, I said, hey, I want to join. I'm a cop. I want to do this because I know you could do with the reserves. You could do it you just go for your basic training, but then you could just do it 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks out of the year. Right? Yeah. So,
and then I even believe now that you could enlist in the reserves or the National Guard, and you don't have to go to basic or like AIT until like within 16 months. So you have 16 months to complete that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I get there. I told him, yeah, I want to be infantry, and he goes,
Were they recruiters?
yeah, there's 3 recruiters there. And I told him, and he's like, yeah, we get you in there. I said, yeah, but I want to be airborne too. And he tells the guy, he goes, hey, sergeant, first sergeant. Sergeant says, how easy would it be to get this guy airborne? He's like, what do we do today? So you know what I mean? He's telling me everything I want to hear.
Yeah.
So
Sounds
I
alright.
had all my paperwork ready there with me. So I do everything, sign all my stuff, and do everything I have to do. And so I finish that process, and then so we set up the MEPS. So because that's kind of like the first thing you got to do.
Mhm.
You have to make sure you pass everything, and so so it's kind of the same thing. I met him in Visalia. No, I met him in Fresno where I did the ASVAB.
Oh, okay. Oh, that big building?
Yeah. So I went to Fresno Clovis area. I dropped my vehicle off there.
It's like going the back roads to Ridley.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah, I know. I went that way.
And so he picks me up, and we go to it's San Jose, right?
San
We
Jose.
go to San Jose, and I get there, and at that time I'm what? It's 2019, so it's like what, 31, 32, somewhere 31 around there, and so we get there, and it's like a big hotel, and you go upstairs, and they have a game room, like a common room where you can play games and bullshit whatever. And it was funny though, because like all these people were there, and then the recruiters, because it's a lot of younger kids, and then he goes and he tells the other guy, the recruiters there, he's talking to the younger kids like, hey, bitch, you guys need to be in bed by this time, blah blah, and don't dick off, don't mess up. And the guy looks, and then my recruiter's there, he looks at me and goes, hey, yeah, you know what you're doing. You're an adult. Figure it out. So I was like, yeah, I'm good. So
he did. Oh, he just dropped you off?
Yeah, dropped me off, and that was it. So the next day I go, and so you get in there, and you start with all this paperwork. So we do all the paperwork. Then after the paperwork, they give you.
Did you get the cold sandwich?
I don't recall the much, but then you do a breathalyzer to make sure you're not drunk, I guess. Everybody had to do the pass.
I didn't do that.
Oh. Yeah, so we did it all. And then so they told me go to your next spot after that because I had to do some testing. Mm-hmm. So me, not familiar with how it runs, so there's a desk, like a secretary area where you go, but there's a line where you have to wait for them to call you. Mm-hmm. So I just walk up to the desk. Guy, I'm right there, in arm reach of the guy there. And he had the fatigues on. And
was that Navy guy there, real jazzed up? Probably like in his 30s? You don't remember?
We had some big Mexican dude, like 6'4", 260 pounds. He looked like he wanted to rip everybody's head off.
Oh, okay. I had a Navy guy. He was all jazzed up, like real friendly, like joking around with everybody. He was cool. Yeah.
No, this guy was screaming at everybody. So everybody was getting it right off the get. But, mm-hmm. So I get up there.
Where's the exit?
so I was waiting for him, and I go. I think I said, "Excuse me," and then he didn't say anything. Like he has this look on his face, like
you weren't talked to, yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? Like he's all, "Hey, why don't you get behind that line and wait for somebody to call you?" I said, "All right, cool." So I go back. And yeah, so we go in. And we did all the tests on the computers, all that. Everything works out good. And then we go. So then the next part, which I already knew was going on because my brother, he kind of gave me the rundown about it. I don't know if yours experience was different.
The butt cheeks?
No. Oh. First, before you get in the room, say, all right, everybody get in your boxers and sit down.
Oh, yeah, the waiting room.
So we get in there and we're sitting down. And, everyone's kind of like covering it. It's coming the guy covering himself up a little bit. Yeah. He's kind of embarrassed. And so we're waiting, and one by one, you have to go in. They do different physical tests on you, and then they weigh you. And so I go in.
One guy, he got hit by a car, like when he was younger, and he had like a whole fucking scar and everything. And they were making him do like crazy. You know, you do the duck walk and all that.
Yeah.
They're making him do crazy shit just to make sure he was good to go.
They wanted to confirm. Like,
yeah.
yeah, and the one thing too, like I probably just should have kept my mouth shut, but this older guy comes in, he goes, and I felt like I was in good shape. I cut down to, I was at 192 at that time, so I cut down and I was good. I was running, I was working out, and then so the guy goes, yeah, and none of you guys look like you're in shape, this and that, and so I was like, whatever.
The Mexican guy?
Older, he's probably like,
Oh, not the same guy. Yelled at you?
no, not him. Like, the guy, like one of the doctors, and he goes, I was in the military 20 years, this and that. He goes, how many of you guys think you kick my ass? I said,
You put your hands up! You fucking damn!
I'm not gonna do.
Oh my! You took the bait.
You never know. Like he goes, yeah. Well, we'll see about that. He told me something like that, and then it wasn't too crazy, but
you're the one that raised your hand.
yeah. I mean, I'm fucking 30. Like whatever. Like, I'm not scared. Like,
You do like the guy on Hell's Kitchen. Ain't no bitch. You're full. He's ruining your opportunity.
So then the last part.
Watch your step.
One of the last part was, and then and all the military guys, I mean, they went through it, and so you go in a room.
Swear my bike shot, Mike Honcho.
He said, it was like a doctor's office, and little thing. He goes, all right, turn around, drop your boxers, and put your hands on the table. All right, here we go. And I knew it was coming. I was just waiting for it. And then so put your hands. Then, no. He said spread your butt cheeks.
Yeah.
So he said bend over and spread them. So I bend over and spread them. And it was like one of the most awkwardest things, dude. Like I was there and I spread them and I expect, okay, let's finish it, get it done real quick. And I'm sitting there, butt cheeks spread. I'm kind of like, oh, Mississippi. And like I'm there for like 20 minutes.
Like what you see?
It was like 20 seconds, 23 seconds. I was like, then he puts his finger in and he checks you whatever he checks for. And,
fuck.
And that was
they didn't do that.
But see where I fucked up, I guess, was during that time I was working out and all that. I was at GNC. They have like fat burners and they have pre-workout and all this shit I was taking, and so that elevates your blood pressure. So mine was like barely over, dude. So I did all that, and then one thing was my blood pressure was too high. So what I had to do was, after all that, then you drive home and you get out of there, and then I had to go to the doctor 3 different times, and they had to check your blood pressure and make sure it was good, which I did. And then I told the recruiter, and so I messaged him and told him everything. He said, okay, I'll be in contact with you. Never called. I called him, didn't return my calls. And during that time, and it might have been because of COVID, but during that time, one of my buddies, he was working in Tulare at the time, and then he said, hey, dude, you should come over. This and that, this is how it is. And then coincidentally, at the college, I ran into one of the corporals there. And obviously, my buddy was probably going to be biased, or anybody from Tulare is going to be biased because, or from the department, and because, you're there, so you're going to tell them all the good things about it. So I saw somebody I didn't know. I just seen a vehicle with the logo on it. And so I stopped him. I said, hey, can I talk to you for a second? He's like, yeah, come on. So I talked to him. I said, hey, I'm thinking about going over. Can you tell me the pros and cons? And he basically everything was really good. I was like, all right, tell me the bad stuff. He's like, I mean, I can't really think of much.
I need another officer, so I have to do a double.
No, but see, that's the thing, dude. Like, my only point of reference for a PD was like my first one, which it was. Don't get me wrong, it was really a really good PD, but there was a lot of areas that we could have improved, and a lot of the stuff we didn't follow. We didn't follow protocol how other departments were following. If you're shorthanded, like you said, for example, if we're shorthanded, we run with 2 officers during that. At my first department, 2 officers per shift. So if night shift, one person calls in which would happen on a regular basis, what you would do, and I don't even think it's legal, but what you would do, so the senior officer would ask you, because we work from 06 to 1800. So he said you could either work. So after the shift, he said you could either continue working from 1800 to midnight, or you could go home, come back at midnight, work 6 hours, then work your regular day shift. So I was like, okay, I'll go home and sleep for a couple hours. But that was like on a regular basis.
Fuck.
But I just said that to say like that's kind of the themes that was going on there. So that's why I was telling him like, what's the cons, dude? Like I know there's some cons, but you're not telling me. He's like, I can't really think of it. So, anyways, I end up applying, and everything works out. And luckily
The recruiter never reached out to you at all?
nope. And I messaged him again, nothing, and never said anything. And I think maybe because there's gonna be more paperwork for me, and as opposed to like some kid coming out of high school, we're just gonna get sign it, boom, you're good, healthy, you're done. But it was kind of like a blessing in disguise because if I would have went, then I would have been stuck at Fresno, and I wouldn't have had the opportunity to go to.
Yeah, when I went, I stopped taking all that stuff like a few weeks before, like before the because I already figured like when you go to basic, you're not gonna be able to take any supplements. So I just started cleansing my body, and then, but to go back to the other thing, the fucked up thing about the recruiters, so when you're in basic, you're like in a little, it's like a big campus, like a big college campus. So you have big old dormitories, like, so ours, they call them the bays. So we're in one bay, and then all the way across, maybe like it's a big old mile track. So it's 1 mile track. So on the other side, there's 4. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and
This is where?
at Fort Leonard Wood, the basic training. And so on the weekends, it's like on the weekends on Saturday they fuck you up. You do like dumb shit. You clean your weapons all day. And Sunday, it's cleaning day for the inside, so you clean inside. So on Saturday,
Full Metal Jacket style.
yeah. So on Saturday, we had just got back from a training or something, and we were sitting there, like me and my platoon, we were sitting there, and this kid, he was like 6'1", like fucking 300 pounds, and he had his uniform and everything, and yeah, and they know drill sergeant, like when you could know when the drill sergeants weren't around. So then I was like, what are you a new guy or or a holdover? The holdover is like if you don't pass, you have to start over.
Pass what?
Like pass like a task, then you get rolled over. So you're like a holdover.
Remediation. Like
Yeah,
okay.
and and he's like, no, I'm getting kicked out. I was like, how long have you been here? He's like a couple weeks. I was like, what happened? He's all, my weight. Or he went like that, like his stomach. He's like, my weight. And it was fucked up because like the recruiter probably just, yeah, the recruiter just got him in there just to fill a number, but he has to go through all this bullshit because the recruiter knew he was too heavy,
Yeah.
and it was fucked up. He was a big boy. He was big. Like he had no business being in a uniform at that weight.
I forgot one of the guys when we were because they do your weight at MEPS,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember one guy was weighing in, and like when he got on the scale, like he sucked his stomach in and was pushing it in like that.
Yeah, he's doing Daniel Cormier.
I was like,
He's doing Cormier.
that weight's not going anywhere, Bubba.
Yeah.
You're still gonna be the same no matter you suck it in, you push it in. It's the same thing. But
Did he pass?
yeah, barely. But yeah, I don't really talk about it much because I always see those memes like, I could have been a military, but like I don't like if a drill sergeant yells in my face, like
Knock his ass out.
Something dumb like that. But yeah, I was glad. I at the end of the day, I was glad because it was better for the family and like career wise, it was better. But I forgot how we got on that tangent. But in Corona, dude, because we're talking about the traveling.
Coronavirus.
I was saying how like in LA, I don't really like it because the only time we go to LA is really just Disneyland.
That's Anaheim.
Well, the area.
Down south?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Disneyland's not in LA.
There, went to Bria, Riverside.
Local. You just can't hide it.
And it's all like big city stuff. And like we said, we grew up out in the country, dude. Like that's what I'm used to. And then even like little towns where we live, it's a city, but it's a small city.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about Corona, man, I could see myself living there. The cool thing about it was it's
Was there a mountain area? Mountains?
it's like big city, but you drive like here you drive 10 minutes and then there's mountains and there's
Hmm.
trails and stuff. So one of the girls there, she worked with Corona PD, and I said, hey, I'm looking for like somewhere to go running, like a trail, something nice, because I see all these mountains. And so she goes, oh yeah. So she turned me on to this place. It was called Skyline Drive Trail,
Hmm.
and it's really nice, man. Like so, it's you park on the once you get there, you park on the side of the road, but right where you park, that's where the trail's at. And it's all uphill. So the trail it starts off as cement, so it's a cement and it just goes uphill, and then because it's a residential area just to the south
Oh
of it,
shit!
and so once you pass that residential area, it's like it's all dirt, like a dirt.
Is it like a national park or just
Um, I don't think so, but
no?
they did have. So when you go and it's like the trails, like you run, it's just like a dirt trail, and so you go, go running, run, and then when you get to like this end point, so there's a few options once you get to that point. There was like a billboard where tells you about the trails and stuff. You could hike, but it's real narrow, so you
Mm.
could either hike, um, take those trails and hike. Like there's a few different ones, but this other one, which is pretty cool. You know how Switchback comes around like that?
Yeah.
So you run up and then it comes around and it keeps doing that. So you go, then there's another turnout,
Oh, cool.
and it just goes all the way up to the top. And we didn't get out. We didn't get out of class till like 4:30. So I by the time I changed and got up there, I got 2 miles up and it was about already 5:20. So
You should have took a headlamp.
yeah, I didn't think about it, but it was already getting dark. So I turned around, but I was thinking next time we do like a run or do something, we're going in that area and we pass by there, dude. I want to go running over there. It was you like it, dude. It was really
Was a
nice.
lot of runners.
Um, there was a few. Some people were just hiking, and then it had a lot of cool mountain bike trails because you could see where the trails were.
Did you
They
see
went off.
Schwab?
No, I didn't
No.
see him, but it was nice. Like I was telling the family, like I could see myself like if I had to pick like a spot
I thought it was Pismo.
in LA, like I could be there.
Pismo.
Yeah, I mean if you want the beach, but it was pretty cool. I liked it.
I might be going to It's a chat that it's I think it's Camarillo
mhm.
down south.
What's over
That Channel Island University, Sian got accepted over there, so we might be going over there more often. But I don't. I can't.
there? Did you guys go visit the campus yet? Or?
No, we're gonna do that this spring. But that was the first letter of acceptance, so we're gonna play it by ear, see what she wants to do. But it's a nice area. It's like San Bernardino County,
Okay.
so it's like it's in between those areas what you're talking about.
Yeah, and really, dude, down there, like the traffic's the traffic sucks. But after talking with Chewy and a couple other people, my brother-in-law, like if you strategically plan when you're gonna go to certain places, you'll be good.
Hmm.
But there's just like certain windows.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's stuff that you can't plan for, like if there's accidents and stuff. But majority of the time, if you have it down, if you're living down there, you have it down.
People like they'll get their fucking breakfast and they know they're gonna be there for an hour. They'll eat their breakfast, or the ladies will get their makeup. They'll do their makeup while because they'll be stuck in traffic for an hour.
Yeah, the PD was cool though, dude. They had a nice gym. We were like in the briefing room. It was real big, nice. It was pretty cool. One of the I was telling you, I wanted to say one of the exercises we did. So day one, when we got back from lunch, we walk in and there's on the desk. There's all these index cards and they're face down. So one by one, you have to go up and you pull the index card, and the index card has a word on it, and whatever the word says, you have to talk about that for 2 minutes. So, for example, there was like cake, donut, pin, and so everybody was kind of ballparking it. One girl was funny. She's like, "Yeah, there's a lot of different types of cake. There's a chocolate cake, carrot cake," and she was going
Did I
on.
mention cake?
And but it's a good. I got run, so my
Oh yeah.
was perfect, dude. So I just started talking about how I got into running, blah blah blah, all that stuff, and um, But one that stood out when I was there was a guy who was from not Alameda. It was Marietta. He was from Marietta PD.
Mm-hmm.
His name was
Manatee.
Marietta.
Oh.
That's a different one, but Marietta, and his name was Kofi. So he did it pretty cool though. His was Penn, but he introduced himself, and so anyways, his backstory was he grew up in West Africa, and he came to the States. He joined the Marines. Then after he got out of the Marines, he went to college, and then he went into law enforcement. But after hearing that, it kind of stood out. I was like, it's a pretty good story because that's coming over, and it's like, he just kept bettering, bettering, bettering himself. And so I ended up talking with him.
He was a PD or sheriff? Or...
PD. And so one of the things that we want to do is, like we already talked about, for this new year, one thing we want to do, which we did it last year with your buddy Harris, right?
Oh, yeah.
So one thing that we want to try to implement with the podcast is we want to either via Zoom, a phone call, or even in person, if you want to come, anybody like who's been in, been through some stuff, started off rough, and then, kind of turned it into a positive and use that.
Or you just want to get out there and tell your story, like you have a story to tell.
Mm-hmm. And so you don't have to necessarily be military, law enforcement, but any of our buddies, my brother's buddies, my buddies, if you listen to this, or we'll post it later, if that's something that interests you, like you want to, or you're open to talk about, some stuff that you've been through, and then now we're message us, let us know, and then we want to get you on. But so when I heard his, I said, you know what, I'm gonna talk with him. So after it was the last day and after everything, he was, and luckily he was in my group. We had to do a PowerPoint at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
So he was in my group, so we got to bullshit talk a lot and stuff. And
do you have a thick accent?
A little bit. You could tell though,
mm-hmm.
but he had not that bad. There was another guy. He was also from I don't think West Africa.
Cameroon.
Somewhere over there. But he had a really thick accent.
Mm-hmm.
But he was pretty cool. He was an older guy. His name was James. But anyways, I talked with Kofi, and I told him, hey, this is what, we have a podcast, what we do. And, he said, hell yeah, I want to do that. I'm open to it. So I got his contact information. And so in the near future, we're going to talk with him. And he's a few hours away, so it'll probably be a phone chat. And so he was open to it. And the cool thing, too, he was saying, like, him and his brother are interested in doing a podcast, too. So I told him, you could spend all this money and get all the top of the line stuff, or you could get, do it how, we're doing, just, spend
a few $100,
just spend a little bit, and then, get all the basic stuff that
the basics,
and, start it. So I was kind of telling him how we were doing it. So I helped him out a little bit. And, so I'm excited to hear it.
But I think that too, that's with their culture too. Some people don't know, like with the Africans, when they come over, they're real, like they're friendly. They're like, I guess it's just their culture. Cause a funny story, when I was, I graduated basic, and then I came home. I think it was like 11 days I was on leave. And then, I had to go back I was going to Kentucky, and, I was told to call battalion, like the staff duty people, the ones that work in the front office at battalion, because like I said, it's 24/7. Someone's there answering the phone.
What would like battalion be in relation to like like a business, like HR or something, or
not necessarily. No, like it's like a help desk, or battalion. Yeah, that'd be like the HR. But like if it's a weekend, like on the weekend, or like there's a front office, like a help desk, 24 hours. Okay. So there's always like 3 people. There's a officer in charge, then a senior non-commissioned officer in charge, and then like a runner, they call them. It'd be like a lower enlisted person. And then so you call that number 24/7, and someone's gonna answer no matter what. And so I called them when I landed in Dallas Fort Worth because they said to call them before I get to the last flight before I land in Louisville, which is like 45 minutes from base. So I call, and then I get lined up with just an NCO from my company, and
Non-commissioned officer.
yeah, a sergeant. I think it was like staff sergeant. I forgot his name. I went to school with him there. He a couple courses with him, and then so I get picked up when I get to the airport. I have my bags and everything, and this guy picks me up. He has a real thick African accent, and he's real flashy. He has like those shiny shirts on, and then he has the shiny pants and the fucking shiny shoes, and he's talking to me, but he has a real thick accent, but he's talking English like he's been here a while, and so you're talking, and then like 20 minutes into the drive, I said, "So are you like a driver for the army or something?" And because I'm a sergeant in the army. Yeah, it was Sergeant Ali, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Okay," and then he was going to be one of my NCOs later on. I didn't know that, but he didn't know that either. But later on, he would be my as a section sergeant, and he was like, I didn't know what the fuck. It was dark. It was already like I didn't know where I was going to sleep at. I was like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. First day. And
this is after basic and all.
Yeah, this is my first day in Knox.
Okay. I thought you meant you were in there already.
No, first day.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck am I gonna like? I don't know what's going on. And so he's like, where's your like sleep system, your bedroll? I was on Avenue. He's like, all right. So he took me to the Dollar General. Fucker spent like $60. He bought me a pillow, blankets, and all that stuff, water. And then what they do is when you get there, they put you in a barracks room for like 48 hours or a week, whatever, how long it takes you to get your housing. So when I get there, they put me in a room, and then there's always an NCO in charge of the barracks. So if there's a problem, they call him. And later to find out, fucking the guy that was in charge, he was a fucking weirdo. He would go on like the internet, and he would like wear those fake stomachs, like he was he identified as a male, but he just like for play he would wear a fake stomach.
It was like a
insinuating like he was pregnant. But he still identified as a man. He was it was just like a role. I don't know. I don't know if he got off.
play.
Yeah, maybe.
How did you find out about that?
This was like a couple years later. Like,
hey, remember that one guy?
Yeah, he was there for a while. He was like real crazy. He's always jittery. But to bring him up, because I had my laptop and I had a couple movies, and he just walks in the room.
Sir, is this you?
He walks in the room. This was like my first night there, and he walks in the room, and so you walk in the room. There's like a little a shower or a bathroom on this side, a kitchen on that side, and then there's two doors. So it's a two barracks room.
Okay.
So I had the door cracked because they give you a key. So I had it cracked, and he just walks in the room, walks in the barracks room, then he walks in my room, opens the door, he's like, what do you got going on? You watching vampires or some shit? I was like, I don't know what the fuck, but he had his uniform on. I was like, what the fuck is this?
What were you watching?
I was watching
Twilight?
no, I was watching a DVD. It was like Goodfellas or something, because those were the only movies I took with me.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, okay. He's like,
Did you have the belly on or no?
no. And like, it's my first night there, so it's like, yeah, you gotta get on your.
Kind of like the crazy stepdad there.
Yeah, he's like, you gotta get your shit together, because we gotta get you the fuck out of here. Like, cause I was like, what? Like, I don't even know what the fuck's going on yet, dude. Like, it was fucking nuts. Like, I ran the next morning. It was a Sunday, so of course, like, nothing to open or nothing. So I walked to like Burger King and like the PX, the Post Exchange, to get some food, like Hot Pockets and shit. And it was just, like, periodically he would check in on the barracks room, and like, he was nuts. And he was a staff sergeant too, so he was fucking crazy. But he deployed, so I think a lot of people said from his deployment he kind of lost it. And He was a character. But back to Sergeant Ali.
He'd be real quick. He'd be a good one to get on the pod.
After that, after they leaked it out, what he was doing and stuff, he kind of.
Before you get all, how did you find out? Like, were you guys just bullshit and say, hey, remember that staff sergeant?
Because he was the platoon sergeant for first platoon. I was in third platoon. He was in first platoon, staff sergeant, and they were just when he left our company, he went somewhere else. I think he went to Missouri, Fort Leonard Wood.
That's all the dirt came out.
Yeah, and he was just wilding, like he was all of his shit he was posting. I guess he made it like more public, and then people like, oh, remember, like it was just like yeah, he got stationed somewhere else, and I was like, yeah, and then that's when I told him my story about him when he's like, yeah, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to knock, like, because at that point that's your residence until you get to find a house.
Yeah.
And he just, but he has the key, master key, so he just walked in and he's like, yeah, well, he's into this stuff.
You said like when he was still in the military, he would put it out there
like on Facebook, like I forgot. I'll find it.
When you guys are in the military, because I know like in law enforcement, some companies like you can't. I remember when I was in Fresno, like I had to read something and sign it that I agree I will not post anything that will bring shame or so whatever on the state's state center. Like, you guys have something like that in the military?
Yeah, so like not that, but I think it was like 2019 when there was riots in Louisville, and they said you couldn't show up there, you couldn't be in the area. It was like a blackball area for like a certain amount of days while they were rioting, so you couldn't be there. And then just like going out to bars and stuff, like if you're lower enlisted, you have to hang out with the lower enlisted. You couldn't go with like non-commissioned officers and higher ups.
Like MASH had the officers?
Yeah, like that. You couldn't, that was a no-go. Yeah. But it was fun, yeah. And
I'm sorry, but Ali,
oh yeah, Sergeant Ali. He was Africa his whole life. Like since he was like an adult, he had the things right here, like where they cut him. Okay. And I guess when you come of age, it's like a thing, something you have to do. Like, and then it's like a whole day event. You do these different events, and then you earn the thing. They cut you right there.
Did you talk to him about any like that stuff? Or did he
he didn't like talking about it. Mm-mm. There was another one. He was from his first name was Francis. His last he was from Cameroon. He was the same where Francis Ngannou was from. Okay. And he had crazy stories, dude. When I was getting out, he was his in-laws, or no, his grandma and grandpa. Their village was getting taken over, and his grandma and grandpa got burned in their fucking hut alive. So he was like really like had stuff to do, or his family was back there doing all that, like going through all that shit.
And then before we started the podcast, we were kind of talking about different things like PTSD, stuff like that. I mean that probably goes hand in hand with what I said. Like typically, if you're having a conversation and you bring something up, that it's going to trigger them because they're going to talk about all that.
Yeah, that's probably why. Yeah, he wouldn't like talking about it. But Francis, he would tell us all this stuff because he was trying to go back over there. But when you're it's called reconnaissance leave, or CONUS. It's called CONUS leave, and that means you go on. It's not ordinary leave. If you're going on leave, you're just going on leave. But it's CONUS leave. It's like a 30-day process because you're gonna if you're going out of country. Okay. So
Is that common?
Yeah, well, because people like him, like he's from Africa, if you wanted to go back over there, and so he was he was trying to go over there, but since all that stuff was going on, it was like on one of those like a blackball list, so you couldn't. It's like a no-go list. And then I remember Sergeant Friend, he was he like every year he goes to Jamaica, and then from Jamaica he'll go to Brazil. And he does like I think it's like a 45-day leave. So he had a big old packet, and he had everything paid for. And that was like in the beginning, like right before COVID hit. And then right when he was going to leave, that's when COVID and everything got shut down. But yeah,
He was probably counting the days too till he left.
because it was him and his boys. Like they would all go. They would all go for like 45 days was his leave time. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was a really cool dude, man. He was like real open, and then, I mean, you know how then on top of that, like military law enforcement, they have like a different how do you say it, like
A common understanding, like they all the.
your joke, like kind of like that.
Yeah,
humor,
yeah, like they, yeah.
So we're all bullshitting. He was real cool, man, real friendly, open about a lot of stuff, and so I'm excited to get him on. But the other thing we want to do is we got on the 25th we're doing the Support the Blue Run in Fresno. So we should do which we are going to do is the one of those videos that we did when we do our runs.
Oh yeah.
We'll do like a day thing and all that stuff. So
yep.
The last one I did, it was before COVID, 2019. I was starting to call
that was with Kopi.
Yeah, I'll put a couple of pictures up. I have some of those, and then the one that we're talking about before you left, your buddies on the. But I never did one, and I was talking to a few people. My buddy. Snake.
Oh, was it the one where we like there was a bunch of like some short people, tall people, like
One guy was like kneeling down.
Oh yeah. Wait. Not in the army yet.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I remember that one.
But the Support the Blue Run. So So you do the 10K, which is about a little over 6 miles. But I wanted to.
You're gonna walk it?
No, I wanted to. Because when I did it, so I showed up and I had my gear on and I was everything.
Full battle rattle?
Yes. And so what I wanted to do too, but I never asked because I know it would have been stupid, but I wanted to have my rifle seen.
Yeah, yes.
Just everything.
I need a flare gun.
Like the whole night. But I fucked up because
fucking flash grenades too.
Hey, some of the guys from the bomb squad, they walked it, but they had everything on, like that whole thing, dude.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was pretty cool. But it's
ACH.
Yeah, no.
They didn't have their helmet?
Because the whole thing, that whole get up, it's almost like that. It looks like a bite uniform for the canines.
Oh yeah.
Like that whole thing they had on. But where I messed up was I had everything, and then I was like, should I do the boots or just my go fast? It was like, nah, I'll just do the boots because I'm like, this is my first one, so I want to like do it legit.
Yeah, blisters.
Yeah, so
I'll probably wear my
dress blues.
My or go ahead.
We'll come back. So we got there, and I did it with a couple of my buddies, but I think they did the 5K, and then my buddy Snake was with his family, so they walked it. But it's the whole ambiance, everything's cool, man. Like a
lot of departments.
Yeah, from all around. It's, that camaraderie with law enforcement, that support it was cool to see, and especially out on the streets too. You get a lot of the majority of people you're contacting. It's one of the worst days probably for them.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a lot of negativity a lot of the time. But there it was, everybody was cool. Everyone was helping each other out. But so we start and we're going, and it's a big crowd. So I get to the side and I'm trying to get past everybody. And I remember this one guy, he just stood out because he had one of those the thigh holsters, but the way he had it, like real loose, not tight. So this
like German.
So this fucking thing as it was running.
Flapping in the wind.
Hitting him, dude. And
he probably thought he was a horse that was getting whipped, so he wanted to run faster. He was training like that for months.
And it's different, dude, if you don't train with all that stuff, because, man, it's night and day difference running with nothing on compared to everything, dude. But we got out there. I mean, I took off, and it was fun, though, man. The only thing that sucked was my feet because I had my boots on, but we were going. And I got to almost towards the end, and I was just booking it, man. I was sprinting, and so that race, 2019, I was the first officer in full gear to finish, and my time was 51 minutes and a few seconds.
Sure.
I was just flying, man. But when I got done, I remember my toes and my feet, everything was just blistered up, dude. There's
a trick if you wear the boots. What I would do when I do my rucks, I would put the dress socks on, and then put your boot socks over that, so it doesn't blister.
More cushion?
So it doesn't.
Well,
Yeah, it doesn't rub. It moves around more.
yeah, but that one's February 25th, and I think a lot of the guys from the PD are going to do it. They're doing the 5K, but I wanted to do the 10K.
Inkle?
But afterwards, there's a lot of different booths you can check out.
Beer boots?
I think there's some too, maybe.
Same one from the ruck?
No, different ones, personal ones.
Get beer.
What else? I think that was there anything else?
My kit. If I get plates for it, I'm gonna wear it. My body armor.
Okay.
What the fuck's? I can't think of the name.
Do you have the weighted vest though?
Mm-hmm. It's all ripped up though.
Do you just ruck it?
No.
No.
Or we could. No, you don't have a plate, like a plate carrier. There we go.
Yeah, I got one. It's like for the, I guess they call it like an active shooter vest that you throw on.
Plate carrier.
Yeah.
You have plates for
It's
it?
a whole different vest. It all comes with it.
And it has pouches and stuff?
Everything,
Yeah, we can wear those.
Okay.
I'll wear my military one. I just need plates.
I'm done.
Find me some plates.
Spartan.com. I remember I looked up some of those. They were like a couple $100, but they're legit. I mean, they're more for like the actual taking the rounds and stuff. So
We'll try it out on the next podcast with your pistol.
yeah. But yeah, to go back, Corona it was cool, dude. I liked it.
Coronavirus?
Not the city, but I was staying at the Resident Inn at the Marriott. It was pretty nice. It was like a little 1-bedroom. I remember the last night, everyone's like, "We're gonna
party!"
because we had a test on the last day, and everyone's like, "Yeah, we're gonna go and study at the Shamrock." I'm like, you know what? I might go
Shamrock.
check it out. And I remember I got back, showered, and started eating, and then time to go, and Tombstone came on. And I was like, I was gonna kick back.
I haven't seen this one in a while.
I forgot how good it was. Dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good time. It just kind of sucked being away from everybody. It was just, I mean, yeah, we had phones.
Especially, like, it'd be better, like when you go to schools like that, it'd be cool to go with somebody from your department so you have a buddy with you.
And that last one we did, over there in Murphy, we stayed in Angels Camp, but it was the training was in Murphy. It was pretty cool too because I went with 2 other guys, and like when you go with the training with people, like yeah, you get a bullshit like during work and like in between calls and stuff, but like when you're off duty and you go to hang out with them, like you get to meet the other side of people.
Yeah.
And we all bullshit, and I kind of told them my story and stuff, and they were pretty surprised about it. And yeah, but it's a good time with somebody else there. I know a couple other people took their families and stuff, but
Oh shit.
but kids with school and stuff, it would have been a little rough. So I think that was about it.
Yeah, we covered a lot we wanted to catch up on.
Yeah, but today's Monday, MLK.
Morning.
And so we're going to try to do every other week. We're going to try to record probably on Saturday mornings. We're at my home base, probably at his next. Another one we got to remember too, in a few months, it's going to creep up on us, is the 4x4 48. Almost time again.
I was thinking about it yesterday.
Dude.
We'll be better though this time because we're not gonna.
We'll sleep in here. Right here.
We'll,
right here. Dry count.
we'll have the supplements ready. We'll have all the stuff. Yeah, we'll have all the stuff we need the week before, not the day of.
Yeah, we won't try to do a carnivore diet. Before.
Yeah. I think the protein diet, I think that would have helped us eat better than fucking just trying to do the protein diet. Because the protein shakes.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's the thing, too, not to eat so much. Because then you think you're helping yourself, but I think you fuck yourself up more.
The PTSD we talked about, I'm getting that right now. Thinking about it. I remember that.
Question!
This guy had his alarm was...
Rich Piana.
Yeah.
He has a little motivational speech he does, like a 5-minute one.
But that was our alarm.
That was the first thing that would come out. Question.
How crazy was we were in a freaking garage sleeping in fucking tents and stuff like we're in the.
We're doing the full effect. Like we're doing like Goggins style. We didn't do the fucking comfort of our own home. We're in the garage.
Maybe we should keep that going.
Yeah, but like we could prep better though. Like we could get another heater, get more of those. I
Electric heater.
have a heater. Yeah, I already have one. We'll take it for the weekend, and we'll close the door and we'll have it going as we're leaving. And we could still do our showers and stuff as need be, but. We have our fridge, we have the TV, we have everything we need in there.
Flat land, flat ground. No, we're doing it.
A board.
We're doing flat this time.
Oh, flat ground, you mean?
Flat ground, yeah.
Flat.
Dude, yeah. Uphill.
We'll get a tent right here in your front yard.
Right here. Garage. Yeah, so we got that one coming up. But first, before I'm gonna get ahead of ourselves, we got the.
That's in what?
April, I think.
No.
March or April.
Yeah.
And so we got that one coming up, and then we'll start there.
I need new running shoes.
We'll start there first, and then we'll get into that one. But we're gonna post it today, but also too, like we said earlier, just kind of reiterate, if you do want to be on the podcast, you don't have to be law enforcement or military. It could just be you have a story you want to tell,
or you just want to do it just to do it. Like for us, the biggest thing was just doing that first one, and then now we're doing them. But yeah, if you just want to break the ice and do something.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be an hour or whatnot. If you
20 minutes, yeah.
Just like, hey, or even if you have like some crazy stories with us, like from back
or you want to promote a business or promote something that you're doing or whatever. It's just open to anybody.
Yeah, so if you're interested, we'll post it on the caption on the bottom. But thanks again for everybody tuning in. The support. Thank you guys. Like and share. If you know somebody you think would like the podcast or interested in these kind of stories, military law enforcement stories, let them know. Thank you guys.
I'm doing the hand.